Hello and welcome to the DEL ECAP webinar, Introduction to Eligibility and Enrollment. My name is Nicole Lohr and I am a pre-K specialist with the ECAP team. This webinar will give you an overview of eligibility and enrollment in ECAP. We will highlight both the current ECAP performance standards and the 2016-17 ECAP contract. This webinar is intended for ECAP directors to help support their sites with enrolling children into ECAP. Let's get started. We will begin with the current ECAP performance standards. Enrolling children and families into ECAP is a process. It begins with recruiting potentially eligible children in your community. Next is determining if the child is eligible for ECAP, followed by prioritizing all eligible children, and then finally enrolling according to priority and how many funded slots you have. Your organization should have a recruitment procedure documented in ELMS, our early learning management system. This procedure should specify the details of where you recruit, how you attempt to reach the identified populations for ECAP enrollment, and how your recruitment is ongoing throughout the year. Specific families to recruit are homeless families, children in foster care, families involved in child protective services, Indian child welfare, or family assessment response, and children with disabilities. Now we move on to determining eligibility. From the recruited children, each ECAP contractor determines which children are eligible for ECAP. A child is eligible for ECAP if they are 3 years old, not yet 5 years old by August 31st of the school year. This means that they are not eligible for kindergarten yet. They must also be one of the following: a returning student to ECAP, with income at or below 110% of the federal poverty level, qualified by their school district for special education services. A child with an individualized education program meets this requirement. From a family receiving child protective services, Indian child welfare, or family assessment response services, or with income above 110% of the federal poverty level, but impacted by environmental or developmental risk factors linked by research to school success. These 5 categories can make a child eligible for ECAP. If the child or family does not meet one of these categories, they are not eligible for ECAP. For our discussion later about priority points, please note that the risk factors for over-income children must be linked by research to school success. Verifying eligibility of a child who applies to enroll in ECAP is a crucial step in the process. Contractors must view documents to verify a child's age, a parent or guardian's legal authority to enroll that child in ECAP, family size, and family income. A signed statement by the parent and staff person verifying the eligibility information must be retained. In the performance standards, specific directions are given on how to ensure verification occurs correctly. On the ECAP website, there are also helpful documents that can help staff with this process. One of the best documents for this is the verification worksheet. For more information, visit our enrollment section of our website by going to www.del.wa.gov. Once you get to the website, click on Providers Educators across the top bar and click on Early Childhood Education and Assistance Program. From there, you can scroll down to the header entitled Enrollment to find the documents. From the pool of eligible children, prioritization puts them in a line to be enrolled by highest points first. When looking at priority points, you can bet that the following will get in first: children who are 4 years old, families with the lowest poverty levels, homeless families or children, children or families receiving CPS, ICW, or FAR services, families with multiple needs or risk factors, and children in foster care. After that, the research-based risk factors help break a tie between the children with lower points. To view the research-based risk factors on the priority points chart, visit our website under the Enrollment section. Now on to the history of priority points. Why does ECAP have the current priority points? Priority is written into statute as children from families with the lowest income, children in foster care, and eligible children from families with multiple needs. Also, as funds allow, children who are receiving CPS or FAR services are also eligible and prioritized. As you can see, the statute is written very income-based. The top pieces of prioritization come from the statute and performance standard. Then, as mentioned before, the tiebreakers come next, which are the research-based risk factors. Each one of the factors listed has research linked to school success behind it. These are also the factors that are not used only for priority points, but also as risk factors to determine an over-income child's eligibility. There is a maximum of 25 points for this section. This ensures that the highest priority children get in first. Research for these was compiled about 5 years ago and needs updating. The ECAP team is currently working with the Department of Early Learning's Director of Analysis and Research to help us update these risk factors. We will continue to use the performance standards language about being linked by research to school success. Maintaining enrollment. Contractors must fill all slots within 30 days of the first day of class. They must also fill vacant slots within 30 days of the last day a child attended. A child must attend preschool to be counted as enrolled. Please note that it is optional to enroll vacant slots within the last 60 calendar days of the school year. Once a child is enrolled, we also have standards about attendance. Contractors must track attendance and analyze it for daily average attendance. That should be maintained at 85%. If a child has 3 consecutive absences and staff do not know why, they must work with the family to address barriers to attending. If these absences continue after intensified family support, the slot must be considered vacant and it must be open to another child on the waiting list. With that, now we will jump to the ECAP contract. The ECAP contract contains more specific regulations on things like entering information into ELMS, communication with DEL, and many other regulations not captured in the performance standards. We will focus on one section of Exhibit A, Statement of Work. In the 2016-17 contract, this is Section 6, ECAP eligibility, enrollment, and attendance. Let's talk about extended day eligibility. So ECAP extended day model is meant to mirror a child care day. Children and families must meet ECAP eligibility requirements first. Then, parents or guardians must be working or in training full-time and need full-time childcare. For a single-parent family, the work, training, CPS childcare, or work-first activities must total at least 25 hours per week. For a two-parent family, the work, training, CPS childcare, or work-first activities must total at least 55 hours per week. Please also note that for a child in extended day who may enroll in a second year of ECAP, extended day sites must re-verify that the work and training hours still meet the requirements. This ensures that the child is enrolled in the proper model. Now we move on to eligibility training. In the contract, it says that staff who verify ECAP eligibility and enrollment must complete an eligibility and enrollment training. This training can be in person or online, and staff must maintain a certificate of completion. Now we move on to false eligibility information. In the contract, it says that contractors must immediately inform DEL of any suspicion that an employee improperly recorded a family's eligibility criteria, or that a family provided false information in order to enroll in ECAP. In addition to the attendance requirements in the performance standards, contractors must ensure that children are available to attend each ECAP class session, with the exception of temporary illness or other family reasons. Contractors must also not enroll children who have a regular conflict with scheduled ECAP classes. With that, we have come to the end of our webinar. If you or your staff have questions about eligibility or enrollment, please contact your assigned pre-K specialist. For ELMS-related enrollment questions, you may also contact elms@del.wa.gov. Thank you for listening.